Alrighty, ladies and gentlemen, we are back at it again. And one thing that I have to say over here is that the NTE developers straight up parried a video that I was about to release. Yes, I was busy re-rolling on the game day one, and one of the most disappointing things that I found about the game on day one was the fact that there was no news at all regarding stuff that CN was getting when it came to Neverness to Everness. Stuff like a free 5-star standard selector box, as well as things like 1600 pulls arriving in the mail. And when you consider the fact that this game had already had a good bit of CN favoritism already, right? Going ahead and actually launching 7 days earlier in that region compared to now, well, when I logged into NTE, of course, it was doing my rerolls, all of that stuff, and I saw that, well, we didn't have those rewards that CN was getting. We didn't have them in our mailbox. I thought this game was cooked. I thought that this game was going to follow into the footsteps of Black Beacon, but I am happy to say that I'm glad that this video that I was about to upload was delayed, ladies and gentlemen, because, well, my editors were like busy working on it and I didn't make a thumbnail. You get the gist. Because it turns out, ladies and gentlemen, NTE, they actually listened. And this is the post over here that's going to describe just how much they listened. Hey, appraisers. First, a heartfelt thank you for being with us through launch day. Since the service went live, we received an incredible amount of feedback and suggestions from you. The team is actively looking into them and will continue to follow your feedback closely while rolling out fixes and improvements. To help you kick off your adventure in NTE with style, we prepared a few gifts for you. And this is going to be the launch reward that comes out basically tomorrow. Analyth times 1600. That's basically a 10 pull in the game. And what I was basically a big proponent of was that NTE, you're directly competing with Wuthering Waves' anniversary, and you are basically robbing all of the global players of rewards that CN is getting. What bigger way are you going to have to just turn off everybody from playing this game, saying fuck you to it, and just going to play Wuthering Waves instead, if you do that? Well, it appears that they've decided to come out with an announcement. And the way that I feel like this is a bit of like a knee-jerk reaction versus something that was planned is the fact that this is like just randomly launching 2 hours or really 3 hours after the release of the game. I don't know why they wouldn't release this as the servers went live. Because this compensation over here from CN, right? This whole like situation over here from CN regarding like all this stuff, it dates all the way back to April 24th. It's like April 28th right now. And this free 5-star news in CN, well, that shit dates on, I do believe, April 28th, like way earlier yesterday, if we're going to be honest here when it comes to timing. So this to me looks like something that NTE actually wasn't maybe intending on doing. And now they've actually decided to do it. And I think that's great. I think that's good. I think they might have seen the negative reaction from the community, at least after hearing that CN was getting all of this stuff, and of course the previous rewards that CN got, and decided, hey, maybe we do need to give that to Global too if we actually want a shot at succeeding in this region. Because my honest take is, why wouldn't they just announce this as the servers went live? They would have minimized a lot of the drama. They would have minimized a lot of the sort of like conjecture that Global was going to be treated a lot worse. And the timing is a little bit odd, but it's definitely good. It's definitely good overall for the game. I kind of just wish that they launched the servers with news like this. I think people would have been perfectly fine with it and they wouldn't have any real concerns at all. And remember, like I said before, I literally have a video that's like in the works right now, or that was in the works right now that was directly going to address this topic. But we're not releasing that one anymore. You can check out my streams though to see what the recording looked like. The second reward over here, S-Class Standard Character Selection Box. Delivered via in-game mail by May 3rd, 2026. Be sure to log in and claim it. And so basically the eligibility for both of these rewards over here make it very, very, very simple for a lot of players. First things first, all you need to do is unlock the mail, which takes you about 20 minutes in-game. I've re-rolled enough to identify it. It's about 20 minutes in-game to unlock this. And you'll get a 10 pull and a free 5-star selector. One of the main reasons why this reward is so good is because it really boosts your ability to reroll in this game. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, I've kind of like gone through the ringer over here, and I can give you the sort of like full picture on just how good rerolling has become. Essentially, in NTE, you get 2,200 of the premium resource over here, which is basically close to enough to get like one, maybe like, you know, like 1 10 pull, maybe like 1.5 10 pulls, like 15, something like that. And, well, when you're able to bundle in the bunch of standard pulls that you get over here, 30, with that other 10 pull that you're getting from the mail, well, guess what, ladies and gentlemen? That's basically 25 opportunities, likely more, due to the fact that, well, you'll just be able to go ahead and... Sorry, it's a little bit difficult to find some of the stuff in here. You go into the store, right, and you just use like the rebate system. You'll get these from pulling. You can redeem those for pulls. You'll also get these resources over here that you can redeem for pulls too. And then, of course, any of the excess stuff you can just redeem for pulls as well. And when you combine all of it together, I wouldn't be surprised if you have around like 30 opportunities to pull on the gacha system. That's a lot for just 20 minutes of rerolling. That basically means that every single person, if they do put in like maybe an hour, 2 hours, 3 hours of your time, it took me only like 4 accounts, I think, and around 2 hours, talking with chat, recording videos on the side, doing all of that to get my Nanalie over here. And you can still see that I've got a metric fuck ton of resources because I've only been playing the game for like, well, like another like hour and a half afterwards before making this video. And I would dare say that this might be one of the most, if not the most, reroll friendly games ever released following this reward. It's incredibly player friendly at this point because, well, let's just be honest here. The game is slated to have a bunch of limited pulls as well when it comes to the actual like distribution process, right? Through like all the quests, through like all the different events, all of that stuff. And that basically means if you get Nanalie early, you should be good with the game's lack of 50-50, right? Guaranteed. Within 90, you should be able to guarantee all the S-rank characters from version 1.0 until maybe like fucking 1.2 or something like that. Assuming that this is something that you do. And well, guess what? As long as you are able to claim these rewards that should be coming out tomorrow, you should be able to get that done. Now, there's also going to be that S-Class standard character selection box. And this is what I have to tell you when it comes to the standard pulls in this game. If you play this game for like an hour after doing all of the initial pulls, you'll just kind of just straight up unlock this first selector over here. It doesn't take very much time at all to do that. And there's a chance you can be lucky or unlucky like me, seeing the character that I got, right? And get an S rank prior to that. Well, then great. You're going to have... I'm about to get my second one. And there's going to be a third selector box as well very, very, very soon. And so that's kind of like the situation, ladies and gentlemen. Pretty much every single player is going to have at minimum 2 of the standard S ranks very, very, very accessible early on within like an hour of gameplay. And as long as somebody decides to go ahead and re-roll a little bit, not spend too much time on it with those additional 10 pulls that you're going to be getting, then every single person should also have the first on-banner limited character at the same time. And that's going to be one of like the most competitive and I think one of the most like powerful starts that somebody can have in a game. And if getting a lot of S rank units is what you're looking for, is what like entices you, is like one of the reasons why you're playing a gacha, then yeah, I think NTE is going to be great in that regard. However, there is something else that I need to say. You do want to make sure that you actually want to play this game. Because, at least when it comes to, like, the story for me, yeah, this might be one of those games where I have to, like, skip the story to truly enjoy the actual gameplay. I would say the gameplay is, like, a blend of, like, Wuthering Waves, and a little bit of, like, ZZZ at the same time, with definitely not as much fluidity, I would say, when it comes to, like, some of the fights and some of the combat. But it is something that might tickle your fancy if you're looking for like a little bit of variety. The last bit I'll talk about over here is weapons. because naturally, there's also a weapon banner in this game, and that weapon banner can definitely be something, right, that people want to pull on, especially for that new unit. None of us have gotten into endgame content yet. None of us have gotten in and seen how difficult stuff is. And so there could be a chance that weapons feel mandatory for units to function, but there also could be a chance that they don't, and you can get by with all of the other, you know, free sort of like S rank arcs that are in the game. Not entirely sure yet, but it is going to be up to those individuals, right, who hopefully are able to, within 14 days, kind of like bum rush all the content in the game to see whether or not this is truly something that makes sense. Overall, I will just say I'm happy, very, very, very happy to see that NTE has decided to not fuck over global even more, because without a doubt over here, ladies and gentlemen, let's be honest, they kind of have already fucked over global once by having this staggered release and by having this release 7 days after CN. And I just think it's like within their bare minimum best interest to go ahead and just give out all the stuff that they've been giving to CN, give that out to the rest of the player base. And thankfully, that has occurred. And hopefully it'll set a new standard for how they treat both player bases. Whenever something gets given to CN, it's immediately communicated that it's given to that's given to global. Because I think one thing that they did very, very, very badly here in this circumstance was delay the communication of this for so long. Because this isn't like a circumstance where the player base should have like given the NTE devs some grace. You already fucked global once by doing this. And so players were just going to assume that you were going to fuck them again. And so staying radio silent over here, delaying the response by like 3 hours until after the servers opened, not a good look. Not a good look at all. And the honest take is that some people might think that they were trying to sweep it under the rug, and if maybe the public outcry and the public backlash wasn't enough, then they maybe just wouldn't have done anything at all. But we'll never know, right? But people are always going to speculate. People are always going to have like some sort of like darker intention in mind when it comes to the studio's response, because they weren't proactive with it, and it looks reactive. So we'll find out kind of like how the practices are moving forward. This is definitely better than not having anything, but people are always going to be asking, well, why weren't you guys upfront with this in the first place? Were you trying to pull a fast one on us? Well, naturally, it's a lot better than the PayPal incident with Arknight's Enfield. I don't think anyone can dispute that. So at least Hada has this little bit to go ahead and one-up Hypergriff with, because good golly gee, what a fucking disaster that whole PayPal incident was. This is definitely way better than that. Let me know what you all thought. Peace out.